South Africa is our land. South Africa belongs to all the people who live here in South Africa. It does not belong to Donald Trump. He can keep his America. And Ene is even worse. He is even worse. When I meet him, I will tell him. I will say, you, Donald Trump, you are even worse because your forebears came to America. They found the native, the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them. Rine, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. He must leave us alone, Lauri. When we were facing apartheid, when we were facing oppression, he was not here. He did not fight side by side with us. And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question. As far as I recall, Donald Trump was not around the negotiating table when we negotiated the end of apartheid. So stick around there in the White House. We will do our business here, and we will find solutions for our problems. So stay out of our issues, and we will not get involved in your issues in America. You have your own problems. Leave us alone.
Necessary. The EFF has noted the threat by the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, who has issued a threat to cut foreign aid to South Africa and impose sanctions on South Africa for adopting legislation that permits the expropriation of land without compensation and implementing policies that addresses historical race-based inequalities in our country. The statement by Donald Trump is offensive and undermines our sovereignty, and is a reminder that our reliance on foreign aid and foreign direct investment surrenders us to the will of imperialists who use money to dictate the economic and policy direction of Africa. We want to make it categorically clear to the President of the USA that we are going to expropriate land without compensation and pursue legislative measures to do so, and no threat will stop us. His misinterpretation of the Expropriation Act, which is a mild and cosmetic intervention, is an assessment of a measure that is going to be pursued through the amendment of our constitution as South Africans, and there is nothing he can do to undermine our independence.
So now Trump has moved from hitting high tariffs to Canada, China, Colombia and all to now South Africa. He posted on his Truth Social and also shared it on his X account that South Africa is treating some. Let me just read Trump's post. He said South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. It is a bad situation that the radical left media doesn't want to so much as mention. A massive human rights violation at a minimum is happening for all to see. The United States won't stand for it. We will act. Also, I will be cutting off all future funding to South Africa until a full investigation of this situation has been completed. Meanwhile, in the video, the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, said that Donald Trump should leave South Africans alone. South Africa is not Mexico, it's not Colombia, and I'm in full support of South Africa. There are a lot of US companies in South Africa. Anglo American is a global mining company that works with South African minerals like platinum, gold, copper. Freeport MC Moran is a South African company. It's a US company in South Africa. Red Path Mining Africa is, what is even cutting ties like cutting HIV and AIDS support and all of that? It wouldn't even affect South Africa. In fact, when I even check the list of countries illegal immigrants from various countries, South Africa wasn't even there. South Africa is doing well economically. I think one of the biggest economies in Africa. So which tie is Donald Trump cutting? Come to think of it, we have the major landowners in South Africa are whites. They own more land. The white South Africans own more land than even black South Africans. Most times Nigerians do make a joke with it that they are the landlords and the black South Africans are the tenants. So Donald Trump is, to me, I feel like he's causing a lot of trouble here and there. Maybe just wake up one morning and start tweeting back and forth. So if you check it clearly, you see that yes, there is what they call repatriation, if I'm not mistaken. South Africans felt like some of the land these foreigners acquired, they did not acquire it legally. So though some of those lands were taken from them, it's not even confiscation, it was taken from them. If you are in Nigeria, you know what is happening in Abuja currently. The Minister of FCT said if you cannot pay ground, then that right will be revoked. He's revoking a lot of land, whether you are a former president, former governor, he doesn't just care. So what has that got to do with Donald Trump? Because the people that own these lands are Americans, and all of a sudden he has decided to shift his battle to now South Africa. Many believe that it's because South Africa is the major country in Africa pushing for BRICS currency that will surely defeat the dollar, surely defeat the dominance of dollar. And South Africa is one of the African countries that stood up against Israel handling of Gaza issue. So that's why Donald Trump has now decided to shift his ding-dong battle, if I can call it, to South Africa. But to me, he's just going to achieve nothing. You are not going to achieve anything. You are going to cut all future funding to South Africa. If you cut future funding, South Africa will survive. South Africa is doing well. Their European allies and many other allies will need to collaborate and help with them. I mean, Africa can actually survive without America. Nigeria can survive without America. South Africa can survive without America. It's just because of the poor leaders we have in this our side of the continent. If he should cut all ties, Donald Trump and his America will soon realize that the world doesn't really need them that much as he thinks. If you cut ties, yes, COVID-19, many people believe that the whole of Nigeria will die. In fact, Bill Gates was saying, blah, 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 there will be a lot of people dying on the streets, even his wife, Belinda Gates. But how did it happen? COVID-19 even died before it even arrived in Nigeria. So we need to really manage our own resources. We have a lot of mineral resources in Africa. And these Westerners are the ones that come to these African countries and go on with the illegal mining. Who is even talking about that? Who is even talking about the exploitation and illegal things these Westerners are doing? Donald Trump will soon realize that he is doing more harm than good to Americans. He will soon realize that he has undone himself and even Americans. So let him go ahead with whatever thing he feels he wants to do to South Africa. Africans will unite. We will be in support of South Africa and let him cut every tie. But he cannot cut breads. He's not the one giving us the air we breathe. He cannot cut. I mean, he's not the one providing our food. Nigeria, Angola, and a few other African countries, they have large mineral resources. We supply petrol to US. Even Nigeria supply petrol to US. We hear of electrical cars, whatever, Tesla cars, but they can't work in Nigeria. We will continue to use that, but even in Africa, even it has its own disadvantages. Cutting off ties and all of that, blah blah blah, won't help. He is acting as Adolf Hitler. You just wake up one morning and start, tweeting, threatening the whole world. But we'll see where these Trump threats and oppression will end. It will lead him and his America nowhere. Seriously.